Id tagulo na po, haro iso kampung no koyonon, tulun do kadazan dusun. Ginumuan do tulun mamagun, ang osonong kopyo, gisom insan tadaw nontok do magadaw id kampung diolo. Nontok pinagahadan montok no dilo, agumutulun magigyon do nangapatay do nawitilon. Ikinoyngan pagigiton pagundilo, nantakan nakanuralan miampay tinipi, do tiso tondo tumulok, di osonong ginawo, do patahakon, man kalipupuson do panggiritan dilo. Poing kuro po, ikinoyngan audikasap, pokorol ginawa tulun. Soira i Hominodun songulun tanak tondo ikinoyngan lokoylo. Minagano i Hominodun minangakun, do patahak tinandaw, mugidu penggoritan diolo. Untuk iri, miampay awagat ginawo. Ikinoyngan nakasaga papatahak, tanak tumulok daw, doman patayo. Soira no po napatay i Hominodun. Tinandaw minan lobongo, tuminanud do kabasanan tulun kadazan dusun. Tinan hi Hominodun, idminan lobongo, papalabus do agumu tuawa. Mantad iri, pagundiolo, nakanu kasanangan kawagu. Mantat sisindiron diti, irino tulun kadazan dusun mamaramid, tadaw kokotuan, do kaamatan, tadaw kaamatan. Untuk tolu nopod tiso tikit taon, do mamusaraw pinapatayan, i Hominodun.
Ancient Karazhan Dusun's belief that the world was created by two divine beings, known as Kinoingan and Suminundu. The legend goes that when the creator couple had finished their work, they entrusted their daughter Ponompuan and son Ponompulan to be keepers of the earth, caring for the world and its inhabitants. But Ponompulan was bitter and rebellious and sought out to build his own kingdom. His sister tried reasoning with him, but she could not stop him on his path to darkness. He began convincing the people to turn their backs on Kinoingan and Suminundu. Kinoingan had no choice but to banish Ponompulan to his evil underworld. In the grief of his son's betrayal, Kinoingan sent scourges of war, disease, and famine down onto the earth. Facing the wrath of the great creator, the people were left with no hope for survival. But his daughter, Ponompuan, saw that the people had repented and had compassion on them. She begged her father to save them. He told her there was only one way. Kinoingan told her that the only hope of redemption was if she sacrificed her life for the people. Ponompuan loved the world that her parents had created, as well as all who inhabited it. She would do anything to save the people. And so she knew what she had to do. She would sacrifice herself for them, willingly and righteously. From her sacrifice, her body transformed into different food resources. The people then knew that Ponompuan had saved them. It was because of this selfless act that Ponompuan came to be known as Hominodun, the transfigured sacrifice. Kadazan Dusuns believe it is her spirit, Bamba Rayon, that lives in their paddy today. Sabah, with its rugged mountain ranges, winding rivers, and still valleys, is home to the Kadazan Dusun people. An indigenous ethnic group native to Borneo, the Kadazan Dusuns are storytellers with a deep-rooted connection to the spirit world. The story of Hominodun has been told for generations, passed down orally through the ritual chanting of the Rinayat. It is the priestesses of the Kadazan Dusun community, the Bobo Hizan and Bobo Lian, that are tasked with learning and safeguarding the Rinayat tradition. Sadly, the tradition has mostly fallen by the wayside in recent years, as urban development and other religions grow more prevalent in Sabah.
Bobolian or the priestess, this knowledge was imparted to them to revere the spirit of the rice, because it's through the sacrifice that the rice become bountiful. It's unfortunate that a lot of the Bobolian now are already gone and not passing down on the knowledge.
Nowadays, young women are not learning it. The people who kept the Rinayat, where the myths were the priestesses, and they were the ones who knew all the story of Suminundu, Hominodun and Kinoingan.
According to this ancient Rinayat passed down by the high priestesses, the girl who was sacrificed was in fact not of the name Hominodun.
In the Rinayat, or in Penampang it's called Inayat, the ritual chanting of the priestesses, God is called Kinoingan and he has a wife called Suminundu. But Rinayat is in couplets of lines. The first line is always in the common language, the second line in a ritual language. In the ritual language she's called Hominodun, because every Bobahizan or Bobolian or Bobohian will tell you it is the name of the wife, not the daughter. Hominodun is Suminundu. Actually, if you can understand the first line in each couplet, you can interpret the second line. And I think someone didn't understand that, and maybe they didn't transcribe it properly, they didn't check it with the Bobahizan, as they're called in Penampang. In the actual myth from Penampang, from the Inayat, she's the one that decides that she will sacrifice the daughter.
Of course, the daughter, she was surprised, but to her, once the mother explained why the sacrifice to be made, then she obeyed. She obeyed because it's a noble cause. It speaks about the the strength, the courage, and empowered woman. In all possibilities, it can be both. Yeah, it can be both version, because legends can, over the years, it can change. But the essence of it is that a daughter was sacrificed. A daughter is sacrificed for the sake of the community.
With the tradition of the Bobohizan and the Rinayat quickly fading into our past, some of the finer details of the Hominodun myth have gotten lost. However, the legend continues to live on in Sabah's largest annual harvest festival, Kaamatan, and its Unduk Nadau beauty pageant.
Unduk Nadau, in fact, started in 1958, and it was based on the legend of Hominodun to give confidence to the young girls at the time by making them join the Unduk Nadau competition. But that time it was not a beauty pageant, it was more the traditional costume competition.
Over the 6 decades, the beauty pageant has gone through a number of evolutions. What was once solely a platform for displaying traditional costumes has become the Unduk Nadau pageant that we know today.
I remember in 1988, when it first became called Unduk Nadau, the aim was to revert back to what it was originally as a means of promoting Kadazan Dusun or native women, as bringing them out and helping them to be articulate and educated. Of course, some of the men didn't see it that way. We wanted to make it more a cultural beauty pageant. But the idea of women being put on stage, paraded around as objects and stared at, is not part of the tradition. And I think the misinterpretation of the myth has encouraged that a sort of idolization of not feminine beauty but artificial beauty and youth and that kind of thing, which is not in the myth.
Now we emphasize on the intelligence because it's about cultural heritage. So we go into the preservation of the language, meaning that they are also the one that must help to preserve our Kadazan Dusun Murut language by learning to speak it. I mean, the Kadazan Dusun Women Council is not very supportive of that if it's just organized in any way, because our Unduk Nadau is not a commercial beauty pageant. It is about the spirit of Hominodun, and they must be able to embrace our cultural heritage. Yeah.
Today, Unduk Nadau contestants understand that the mantle of responsibility is a heavy one, and that the journey itself inevitably becomes one of discovery. Discovery of their history, their culture, and ultimately themselves.
At first, memang tiada niat langsung untuk join. Sebab pernah join pada 2015 yang lalu. But saya dapat first runner up saja because of saya kalah dalam bahagian Q&A, which is I didn't speak in mother tongue. So, I learn about, belajar baliklah mengenai mother tongue ni. Saya hafal lagu dalam bahasa dusun. Saya jumpa orang yang boleh ajar saya secara directly, contohnya si Ateng. And dia yang banyak ajar saya lama satu sebab kami satu office kan. Jadi saya banyak tanya dia banyak share dengan saya final 2018 tu. Masa tu saya memang puas hati sebab saya jawab dua-dua soalan dalam bahasa ibunda. So, yeah. Ramai generasi sekarang speak more like Melayu begitu. Tapi bila kena suruh cakap bahasa ibunda, macam kami lah yang sebelum ni, macam saya juga sebelum ni. Bila cakap dusun, susah mau cakap. Bila orang, my grandma macam bercerita dengan saya kan, saya reply dia dalam bahasa Melayu. So, it's not nice. For me, in my opinion lah, bahasa ibunda itu mencerminkan identiti kita sendiri sebagai anak Kadazan Dusun. Kalau kita tidak boleh berbahasa ibunda, macam mana kita mau buktikan yang kita ini anak jati dusun?
It is through the Unduk Nada pageant that Hominodun has ensured the preservation of Karazhan Dusun culture. Cultural continuity has created generations of women that underline loyalty, respect, and devotion to their community, with confidence and leadership as their backbone.
I auditioned for this Hominodun movie right after the pageant. So they did the audition in Le Méridien. That's where all of the contestants stayed. And I thought to myself, they're doing that audition. Might as well just try, Even if I don't get it, at least I have this experience of actually auditioning for a movie. I've never done it before. So I tried, and then I got the role. I love the idea of being able to make my own choices, to pursue my own career, to make my own future. And being able to make, my own decisions and being able to be assertive and not let anyone else tell me that I should do it this way, what I'm doing is wrong. I guess in some way, I can say that I'm a bit like her, like Hominodun herself, because she's assertive. She's not just this beautiful, selfless woman, this beautiful, selfless deity. She's also this very strong and assertive woman. She makes her decision, and she's brave enough to face the things that she needs to do ba.
Yang paling jelas kita boleh nampak, Hominodun dia sanggup berkorban. She willing to sacrifice herself untuk dia punya masyarakat. So itu adalah salah satu ciri-ciri yang tidak mudah untuk kita ikut. Tapi kita boleh jadikan itu sebagai contoh untuk kita buat sesuatu dalam hidup kita.
The importance of folklore and oral tradition is not in the minute details, but in how these stories and customs, faithfully passed down through the generations, reflect the culture it inhabits.
When you look at Karazhan Dusun culture or any Dusunic culture in Sabah, even the Marutic ones and the Paitanic ones, we have what is called gender balance. That doesn't mean that men and women do the same work, but their roles are balanced. And women have the same dual status as men. In the old days, the men were the village headmen, the women were the priestesses. The men would be warriors in the old days in war, in battle. The women were the warriors in the spirit realm. So there's a balance there. So this is something which is very different from, say, in the West, where I came from. Years and years ago, when my parents were teachers, when they first got married, a woman teacher with the same qualifications as a man would earn less because she was a woman. That was in those days in Australia. It's not like that now. But you don't have that kind of discrimination. Here, women are respected.
I come from a family of 15. Well, 10 boys and 5 girls. My father never said that, oh, you cannot do this, you cannot do that. Now there are many women, Karazhan Dusun women, who are ministers, assistant ministers, also teachers. They are all in all the fields now. And I believe it's because of the spirit of the Hominodun, who already have this wisdom that they pass on.
The message behind the Hominodun myth is clear. Men and women are equal. They may not have the same roles or responsibilities to their community, but their roles are equal in weight. Our myths and folklore are not just fairy tales of time past. They are reflections of our culture and customs.
What we see here in the modern times is, even though it's just a legend, but the beliefs and the spirits lives on through these modern times. That's why, in a way, having the Kamatan, the Unduk Nada was a highlight, has helped to sustain the culture of the Karazhan Dusun woman.
We all know that Hominodun is this selfless, beautiful girl who sacrificed herself for her own people. But she is also a very strong character Kaamatan is celebrated because of her. Undok nga daw exist because of her. You know, it's good that we have all of these, stories about her, but it's also the things that we learn from her legends, the things that we learn from her stories.
I mean, this is who we are, and the Renite should be written down and preserved as myths, as oral literature. This is important because people need to know that the past was a valuable preparation for the future. They need to have access to their past, their cultural past, through books and ethnographies and museums and literature, so they can see that the future it's worth striving for.
Hominodun ini bagi saya adalah salah satu contoh ataupun tokoh yang kita akan tetap ingat sampai bila-bila, sampai generasi yang seterusnya. Sebab ini adalah legenda kita, bangsa kita. Dan saya rasa legenda ini banyak memberi impak kepada wanita sebab Hominodun is woman. So, wanita Kadazan Dusun ini, dorang banyak mengambil contoh daripada Hominodun ini, bermula daripada keluarga sendiri dan juga dibawa kepada masyarakat yang lebih besar. Macam di negeri Sabah ini. Bukan di negeri Sabah sajalah, di luar negeri Sabah atau seluruh Malaysia.
The story, to some, may be nothing more than an old wives' tale. But this tale of a woman's compassion, leadership, and sacrifice has shaped generations of women, influencing their relationships, priorities, and ways of life. Some of the details may have gotten lost in translation, but the true essence and spirit of Hominodun lives on today.